you grew up in the 2000s, you probably played backyard baseball, and that's no surprise to anyone. But I think the more surprising thing that nobody really talks about enough is if you ask anyone how they thought about their experience with backyard baseball was, they'll always say it was incredible. You never hear a single person badmouth backyard baseball. How is that possible? How can one game be so unanimously good? Was it actually just nostalgia? Did it age well? How does backyard baseball hold up today? That's what I want to figure out. I want to play through backyard baseball in a season style of setting. We're going to draft our own team. We're going to make our coach name. We're going to do everything of the sort in the year 2023, long after this game's release in 1997. Now, you can actually still play backyard baseball actually quite easily in the modern day using an emulator called ScumVM. The download and installation instructions will be linked in the description. I'm going to go ahead and just jump into this. We're going to make ourselves Pat as our coach. That'll be good enough. We're going to create our team, and we're going to go with something like the crazy wombats with the nice bright orange color. Just something I've always loved about this goofy guy's circular face with some nice bright colors. That's going to be my pick. Let's go ahead and jump into our actual team draft, and I am going to be going for my favorite team, my strongest picks, so it's going to surprise no one when I first pick Pablo Sanchez, the legend. I feel like my picks probably are decently standard, but some of them might surprise certain people. Next up, I would always pick Pete Wheeler, the speedy himbo of the era. Next up, I'm usually either an Ahmed Khan or a Kenny Kawaguchi pick. I'm going to go Ahmed for the time being, since I'm not really picking against anyone specifically. Kenny's the easy pitcher pick. And I think after those options are picked, that's where things really do slim up a ton. There's still a lot of great players. For example, Keisha Phillips is always my go-to for my 5th slot. But then from there, you've got a lot of different options. You could go things like Stephanie Morgan for an all-around decent player. She's always been a little too boring for my taste, though, so I usually skip that. Tony Del Vecchio for the cool factor I'm a huge fan of. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and rock him for sure. He's popping the lollipop and the pompadour. I'm definitely a fan of that. You could do an underrated pick like something like Marky Dubois, the hick from the West. But essentially, my favorite part about Marky is he has a very cool bat flip. So we'll be considering him. He has one of probably the best animation in the entire game, at least the best batting animation. But I'm going to do something I don't usually do in this pick slot, and I'm going to go with Amir Khan. Amir Khan and Ahmed Khan actually have some really powerful synergy, and they get boosted stats if you pick them together, similar to the Weber girl twins, but I'm not really a fan of picking both of those, so I'm going to rock the Ahmed brothers together. Rock them. Get it? Because they're rockers, they like music, they jam their heads, you get the point. Now, with 2 picks left, there's a couple different options here. I could prioritize speed and go Dante Robinson, or even Luann Louis. Honestly, kind of a decent speed pick that's kind of underrated. I could go Vicky Kawaguchi as well, which is the other counterpart to Kenny Kawaguchi, and have 2 different siblings on my team. She actually has pretty phenomenal fielding to an extent that I don't remember. That's pretty fantastic. A good choice to play anywhere in the infield. I could also pick Angelo Del Vecchio here to match with Tony, but I don't know if I can handle 2 New York accents on one team.
Sure you're making the right decision? Because I don't think you are, you know.
You know what? Screw the whole sibling rivalry thing. I'm just going to go with gut instinct. We're going to get our boy Mikey Thomas, who's got a huge bat on his shoulders, and Marky Dubois, mostly just for the animation that I want to show off to you guys. That should be it. That's the final pick, and here is our killer roster complete. Let's go ahead and set up some strategy for the season and put things like Kenny Kawaguchi over on pitcher. Marky Dubois being a slow player at third base could be mostly fine. Mikey being a catcher makes a lot of sense. We could put Keisha Phillips over at first base, and she's pretty tall, and I think that can impact it, but she's also pretty fast, so honestly, slower Tony at first might make more sense. This seems good enough to me. And from there, I'll just be playing on default settings. Let's jump into today's game.
Baseball is in the air and we're ready for another exciting BBL season. This is Sunny Day and my pal Vinny the Gooch with a hearty hi-ho to ya.
Wait a minute. The Gooch does not, under any circumstances, say hi-ho.
Today we face off against the yellow Mighty Rockets. Not a huge fan of the piss colors, and I feel like they're probably going to regret that by the end of things. Let's jump into things and see how things go. We're going to be leading off with Pablo, of course. The secret weapon kid himself. We'll take a grounder. Should at least get me to first base. He's not going for it, though. We should be fine there. Speedy Pete up next. We'll go for a steal as well. Take the ball. Into the steal. Should be safe. Yeah, we're good. One of the things I definitely always noticed was how snappy all of the buttons feel. I feel like when you want to go for the steal, when you want to send a player back, when you want to go for the swing, most things feel pretty snappy. I will say one of the downsides is kind of a downside, more of a specific, deeper mechanic than I think most people realized. Every single batter in backyard baseball has a different kind of swing, a different animation more specifically, which really impacts the timing of when you're supposed to swing. That really changes things, and you have to kind of adjust when you should swing, how much delay there's going to be, etc., for every single batter that comes up to the plate.
From the windup and delivered. Swinging. Back towards the outfield.
We're going to see if you can catch it, and then we'll try to take advantage with the... Oh! No, we have plenty of time to run. I don't know why he came in so fast. We might even be able to go inside the hole in the park. Ooh, that's a jet, though, over to third base. I should be safe because of Pete. That's really close, though. Third base, I've noticed, can have some of those really close calls, specifically, more than any other base for whatever reason. The animations and whatever it catches up is kind of strange. Ahmed Khan up, some of the biggest power and one of the best hitters in the game. We're going to take that. Even if it's a strike, it's worth not hitting at that pitch. I might go for that. That might have been a little risky. I should be safe to run with Pete and take some extra bases on Ahmed, though. A double-end RBI for Mr. Khan. Next up is Kenny. Not our strongest batter, but still a pretty decent bat, considering he's also our pitcher as well, which is, from my understanding, there are hidden in-game stats which should affect his stamina. Hopefully I don't get tagged there. No, he leaves third. That's perfect. Perfect. Single base hit. There should be secret stats which affect his stamina. So if he is the pitcher, he will be hitting even weaker on offense, which is an interesting thing to think about in a children's game. Keisha's got quite the power bat. We'll see if we can do something with her. I'd love to go for some home runs. That was way too late of a swing from User. See if he thinks of his pitch next. We'll definitely take a swing at that. Keisha's a little too late, though. She has a lot more delay than I expect. Keisha's really good because of her height. She's very good at hitting high balls and low balls, but in the middle, it's not as... I still swung late there. So getting used to the timings, like I mentioned, all the different animations is shockingly difficult. But if you can master when to swing and how to swing on a certain character, it can be so rewarding and impactful on your home run hitting. Tony's up next with a lollipop while he's hitting. That can't be safe, but this should be a nice hit. Let's go for it. I have no outs, so if... No, I'm clear to just run. Let's keep it going. It bounces over, creating a ground rule double. We'll take it. I think Keisha might end up going home off that, or she'll just stay put at third. There we go. We'll take it. 4-0 in the first inning. Can you tell me this is a kid's game without telling me it's a kid's game? Amir is up next. Not a whole lot of experience. I know he's a shorter bat. This should be pretty safe to hit. A shorter bit of a bat swing. Not super familiar with his style. No power-ups have been seen from either side yet. Another ball up high. Way too low. Ball two. Little bat wiggle on the animation. Should be a good hit. Solid. Nothing farther enough for anything close to a home run yet, but now I can take the run. Keisha should be good. Tony's gonna get out, I think. He's caught. We're gonna catch them on the pickle. Get him over safe to third. Mikey Thomas got the little clown music coming in. Slow little fella, no worries. He can be as slow as he wants with a giant bat like this. I've always loved that his bat is literally bigger than every other player's. And that's to show he's got a pretty solid power hitter on him. We've already switched out their pitcher and making him sweat. This guy's face looking so smug with his dumb little two eyes. Let's see what we can do to him. Way too late on the swing. Definitely more delay than I expected from Mikey. See what he chooses to throw here. We've got a fastball looking like in the bottom corner. We'll at least take Tony. I should be safe at first. Mikey's really slow. Oh, they're way slower at deciding where to throw, and Tony's going to make it home safe. Up 6-0 in the first with 1 out still. With Marky Dubois up, and this is why I drafted him. To show you guys this animation, the absolute slickness, the animation that would have made him the coolest kid in any neighborhood when he swings his bat around his back, flings it over, and catches it, readying back up to play some baseball. I've always loved that animation. I'm curious of how many kids just never saw that from never picking him. Underrated backyard baseball character, as he hits a pretty damn nice bomb as... Okay, well, that's some 1997 AI okay. By far the biggest quote-unquote glitch I've seen so far. That was pretty piss poor coding, I'm gonna be honest. But you know what? We'll take it. We'll take the exception for backyard baseball. And we've batted fully around our lineup now. Back up to Pablo, 1 for 1. It looks like our 10th run is gonna be an inside the park home run by Wheeler. Love to see it. I don't know who made his head reverse. Like, it's like almost reverse Ahmed style where it's reverse football shaped. Whoever did that was a genius. Pinhead style is probably the best way to call it. This might be our first home run. A huge hit by Ahmed. It's just barely going to make it out. And we get the home run celebration. Arguably some of the best home run music in the entire game. I've always noticed they do turn a little green when running under that shadow, don't they, of the blimp. 401, just barely a homer. Always loved, they didn't need to include that. That feels wildly over the top for a children's game to include the feet at which the ball traveled. That's a really cool stat to include. I feel like that wasn't even added to like most MLB The Show games until later on. That's unbelievable to see, honestly, back in 1997. That's really impressive. I think the question at some point has to become, is there a mercy rule in this game? Up 15-0 with 1 out in the first inning. Haven't played this game in quite a while. Pablo Sanchez hit a bomb. It might be out here. We get the Pablo Sanchez music with his home run. Big bucktooth Marky Dubois coming down. Big Pablo proud of him. Look at a little like 3 emoji cat face on his face. Happy and proud about his homer. And with a pop fly from Keisha, that's finally our 3rd out. So we're finally retired to defense. 19 runs on 20 hits and 1 error from the Rockets. Let's let Kenny do some work here. I always thought it was cool that the NPCs themselves, when batting, will still do those open, closed, and standard positionings when at the plate. You'll see this guy is closed, leaning in. So if I put a ball probably around here, he's probably going to have more likely odds to smack it out of the park in that direction. So I definitely want to watch out for that and throw something tight on high inside. I'll go ahead and throw a slow ball, easy strike. The energy system is really fantastic in backyard baseball. You've got your juice. Every pitch drains a certain amount of energy. Slow ball is Kenny's specialty, and that drains a much smaller amount of energy. You can usually tell how much energy a pitch drains by how big the possibility of range it can be at is. So a heater takes a fair bit of energy. You can see it can have a quite big range. Most baseball games usually offer some sort of variance with this. You can't usually like, oh, I pick the ball to go in this location, it'll 100% go there, because that kind of takes a lot of the fun out of baseball. You really do have to have some risk and some RNG in there, because it's not every time a pitcher throws a baseball he can control where he's throwing that baseball, especially with a heater, right? You're not going to be able to have 100% perfect pitch location on that. We're going to get a first batter strikeout there. When you get strikeouts and good plays like the such, you get things like this, which will replenish my juice. Now, I believe this does replenish your juice from absolute 0, so saving that until you really need it is super. You also get crazy upgrade pitches like the absolute heater pitch, or the ice ball pitch, or the zany pitch. We'll see if we can get any of those, like the zigzag pitch, etc., etc. Quick throw over to Tony for a second out, excuse me. All the NPCs have these sort of like two beady-eyed and very simplistic looking face designs. Very just simple and silly looking characters you can see with Isabel here. One of the most under talked about and fun parts about Backyard Baseball is the static animations back here. Keisha and Pete and Amir in the backfield. There are certain characters that have some really funny like T-poses or interesting animations in the back as well. Not that I have any of those this time around. This should be out number 3 as we continue to crush these children. Ahmed Khan playing air guitar over there in right field. Pablo throwing his love around. Even the flags waving in the air in the wind during the scoreboard screen. There was so much love and detail poured into this game. Usually, when a company makes a children's game, they understand their audience. They know that they're not going to pick up on a lot of this little stuff, or they won't really care. At least that's the thought process. But I feel like Backyard Baseball is that game that we actually did notice. Even as children, all of the details, all of the funny songs, the animations, everything in the background, we did notice. The scoreboard actually playing what's happening, they didn't have to do that. It could have been a much more simplistic thing, but they chose to add all of this character. The Backyard Sports cast of characters is always praised as one of the best in any video game. I often compare it to things like SSX Tricky, very ahead of its time, a very vast collection of characters. We get a huge hit with Amir Khan here. A very vast collection of characters, allowing you to identify with any one of them, enjoy any one of them, or just have fun with something you normally would never pick. There's just so many things in Backyard Baseball that they didn't have to do to be a successful game. They didn't have to do these things, but they did. And it not only made them a successful game, it made them a legendary game to the point where 20 years later, we're still talking about it and appreciating it and loving it as we did when we were young. It's truly what made Backyard Baseball so memorable, as a lot of the other Backyard Sports games were as well. Bases loaded with Ahmed Khan up. Funnily enough, ironically, Ahmed Khan, I remember this to this day. He was the first character I ever hit a grand slam in Backyard Baseball with. Can I recreate that today? It's unlikely, but that's a good pitch. Off on the timing. I was just a little late. I don't know if that would have been a pitch that would have been able to homer. It probably would have been. But you know what? We'll take it. Still bases loaded. Could still be possible with Keisha Phillips or something coming up. I think it might be Kenny up next, though, and he is, unlikely to be the Grand Slammer. We could always see, yep. Kenny does have a good resting, and you can see after he takes the swing, he sort of repositions his hands with the bat, which I always appreciated. We'll see what happens here with this pitch. A good pitch. Not too late on it, thankfully. Kind of popped up, but it should land safely. Could take extra bases here. I could keep him loaded for the entertainment. Dude, these outfielders have been slow on getting to these balls. I could have went ahead and kept on base for the entertainment of the possible grand slam, but I could just get an inside the park grand slam. I feel like I have to refrain from making any more clips because at this point I'm just bragging about being good at a children's game. It's not very impressive. Could you have imagined the clout if I went to the lunch table in middle school and said, yeah, I beat the Backyard Baseball game last night 26-0? A lot less impressive when you're 25 years old, but still. I just wanted to make a fun little video talking about a game that I loved as a kid, and I'm currently at 34 runs in the top of the second inning in a 6-inning game with 2 outs. I'm reaching the point where I'm Googling what's the world record for the most amount of runs in a Backyard Baseball game. That's a fun little challenge to do. There's nothing on speedrun.com. I am looking at someone claimed on Reddit to get 141 runs in a game. That's really cool. I don't think I'm going to get anywhere close to that, but now, you know what? It's become a little bit of a fun challenge. This was also intended to be the first episode in a little bit of a Backyard Baseball seasoned and series. So if you want to see more videos like this, do make sure to like the video to let me know you're enjoying it and subscribe to stay up to date. If not, feel free to dislike and unsubscribe and let me know what you do want to see. I do kind of regret how much I've talked about Backyard Baseball in regards to it being a game for kids because in reality, it doesn't need that qualifier. It's just a good game. If you look at it as a base game meant for every sort of audience or a game meant for adults, it's shockingly deep. It has the mechanics, it has the animation differences that I've talked about. It has the hotkey boxes, the placements, the energy, all the mechanics, the different batting styles, the different stance styles. It has more complication going on it and than your average, MLB The Show game. The fact that it has those batting styles, the fact that it has those hitting differences. In MLB 08 The Show, you have a heavy hit or a quick hit. That's really it. In Backyard Baseball, you have a power hit, a line drive, a grounder, or a bunt. I guess you technically have a bunt as option as well in MLB, so at least it's 3 versus 4, but still, it's kind of shocking the amount of choice and option and control you have over your game, but still having to factor in the RNG and the sort of skill that takes, factoring in what pitches to throw in, factoring in your energy, and factoring in the range of which your pitches can go. I failed that fielding job with Pablo, but that's okay because this guy is the slowest man imaginable. And this looked like another 3 up, 3 down inning for the Wombats on defense. Back to smacking some kids around. They really said, let's see that one more time. Her grounding out to the pitcher, they just shoved it in their face at this point. Pablo up to bat for like the 6th time this game. Currently 5 for 5 on base, 1000% batting. And a little grounder to probably still get him safe at first. They back up so much expecting a power hit from him. They just give him more opportunity to do dumb stuff. That was a smack by Pete Wheeler to continue bullying them into the 3rd inning. That's going to be a homer, putting us up 46-0. I think they're on their 6th pitcher at this point out of 9 players. Surely Mary will be the pitcher this time. Sorry, Mary. She got 1 pitch, and now Jim's taking over. I see how it is. Jim came in for 2 pitches, and now Artie's up? No way a guy named Artie Pimbleton can throw a baseball. Wait, he threw 1 pitch. Okay, I think I broke the AI. Wait, there's console commands in this game? I mistyped. What just... Did my game just crash? No way do I lose all those runs. No way! Since it operates off a save system, I've never seen Backyard Baseball crash once in my life that I can remember. I just lost so many runs. Oh, man. Well, you know what? I think that's about the perfect time to go ahead and wrap up. Thank you guys so much for watching until this point. Hopefully you enjoyed. Hopefully you had fun watching some Backyard Baseball in the year 2023. And I think I can definitely confidently say throughout the weird bugs and glitches and issues I've had throughout this one game that I've played, Backyard Baseball is a special game. There's something that we clearly also remember about it. There's something that we will never forget. It's legendary for those reasons. And if you want to see me play some more Backyard Baseball, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to stay up to date. I'll see you guys later. Have a great day, and feel free to check out the links in the description to play Backyard Baseball yourself today.